As 2024 comes to a close, it is time for our annual edition where we ask dozens of amazing content creators what was the watch that they wore the most throughout the year and why. We asked all of them to keep their picks around 45 seconds, with 2024 being our largest list of creators yet. So let's start the clock and get this one rolling. So my most worn watch of 2024 is one that made its way back into my collection 6 years after letting it go, the Sinn 104 white dial, specifically the STSA-I. The Sinn 104 was a watch that appeared in the first video on this channel, and ever since I let it go to my cousin, who fittingly is a pilot, it was a piece that I've always wanted to own again. This year, I finally decided it was time to make that happen, and it's better than I remembered. The case is as versatile as you will come across, with ideal dimensions that are sizable yet compact, with the lug-to-lug being just 46.5 millimeters off a 41 millimeter diameter. The 200 meters of water resistance, countdown bezel, well-regulated Salida movement, and updated on-the-fly adjustment in the clasp pop off the package. But beyond all these specifications and clean clinical looks, this watch serves as a reminder of family, past adventures, and ultimately my journey as a collector and a person.
Hey Teddy and team, I'm Adrian from the Adrian Barker channel, and it's crazy to think that it's been another year. But thanks so much for having me on your channel. And the watch that I've been wearing on my wrist the most this year is actually the watch that's been in my collection for the longest time. This is actually the second watch that I bought. This is my Rolex Submariner, the 16610LV. This was launched in 2003 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Submariner. Now, although it looks like a normal Submariner just with a green bezel, there's a couple of Easter eggs within this watch. The dial has the maxi dial, and the hands are called the maxi handset. And this is actually the first time Rolex used these. It wasn't until 7 years later in 2010 that the maxi dial and maxi handset were then rolled out across the whole Submariner range when it was updated to be the maxi case with the ceramic bezel. So although it is quite a common watch being a Rolex Submariner, there's a couple of interesting things about this watch. And right now, I'm really digging it again. Thanks again, guys, for having me on your channel. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.
Hello, my name is Mark. I'm the founder of swisswatchgang, and Teddy. The watches I wore the most this year were actually these two Baltic watches. So I chose two because they're just very diverse. So one of them was made in a collaboration with a collected man, and the other one with Perpetual Gallery from Dubai. They're both very meaningful to me, and they both serve a very different purpose. So I really like the roulette from a collected man because of the dial, and especially the case pick as well. Although it's not a Swiss hand-finished movement, it's still nice to look at. And if I want something a bit more water resistant, because the other one has a screw-down crown, the Baltic Aquascape GMT here is also a great go-to option. Teddy, congrats on all the success you're having this year, and especially with the beautiful store. I can't wait to see it and shoot a video with you. Happy holidays, guys. I wish you many watches, health, and have fun with your families. Thank you.
Hello, Teddy. Hello, everyone watching. I hope you've had an amazing year. If you don't know me, I'm Britt from the Britt Pierce Watch Review YouTube channel, and my most worn watch of 2024 was my 1996 Tag Heuer Formula 1. I always say watches are the intersection of art, history, fashion, and engineering, but they're also little memory keepers. For me, the F1 is nostalgic and happy, and every time I look down at it, it transports me to the 90s and 2000s. It's slightly ridiculous, like why did Tag Heuer make a dive watch for Formula 1, a notoriously land sport? I don't know, but it's a great wear and it makes me happy, and isn't that really the purpose of these little machines that we wear on our wrists? I hope you guys are enjoying the end of your 2024, and may 2025 be your best year yet.
Hi Teddy and his team, and thank you for having me. Hi everyone, my name is Hafizjmehmood. This year, the watch I wore the most is no different than what I wore previously and what you might have seen on my social media. That is, Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711. I've admired this watch for many years, and interestingly, I only grew to love it more when I finally acquired it a few years ago. For me personally, the 5711 does simply everything that I seek and desire in a watch. It's extremely thin, it's proportionally sized, it's subtle, it's not in your face with that all-steel form, and then when you flip it upside down, it showcases some of the finest examples of watchmaking. Lastly, it is extremely comfortable with that silky bracelet, and it's versatile that you can wear it with the shorts or a dress suit without any problems. I have to mention that there is something hypnotizingly beautiful about that dial and how it blends beautifully with the octagonal case with the hinges on the sides. Needless to say, the history associated with this watch, now nearing 50 years, make it something just a little more special. That's me for this year, and until next time, I wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and my greetings for the new year.
Hey, this is Anthony from Chronometercheck, and the watch I wore the most this year has to be one of the best modern divers on the market, also a chronograph, and in a pinch it's so elegant you might be able to get away with it as a dress watch. We're talking about this extremely tasteful Invicta that has me absolutely chuffed a bit. Wait, that was last year. This year is actually the Tudor Black Bay 54. I've always had a deep appreciation for the Black Bay lineup and would have easily suggested them to almost anybody in the market for an equally versatile, interesting, and well-built dive watch. But trying on the 54 was the first time I really bonded with a Black Bay and felt like it was one I just had to have. The dimensions, which are absolute perfection, definitely more compact than most modern divers, but without being too small and without compromising on functionality or durability. Thank you, Teddy, for having me on, and to everyone watching, hope you had a great year.
Hi guys, Mike here from This Watch That Watch. I also have my most worn watch here, and as opposed to everybody else, I'm pretty sure that I actually know for a fact down to the day which watch I've worn the most this year, because who else do you know has an Excel sheet that follows exactly to the day which watches I wear. The watch I wore most was my Royal Oak Chronograph 26331 ST with a blue dial. This watch is the most iconic of all the Genta models in my mind, not the Nautilus, not the Ingenieur. I actually babied it quite a bit, so I'm a little bit surprised that I've actually ended up wearing it the most. The fact of the matter is it looks great, it wears well on my wrist, and it's an absolute fabulous watch. Thank you so much. Hope to see you over on my channel, This Watch That Watch. Cheers.
2024 has been the year for me going independent, so I've mostly been wearing a watch from one of the longest standing independent watchmakers, the Chopard Alpine Eagle. Yes, it looks like a dog sat in blue paint, and yes, the date window's been jammed in harder than Disney's political agenda, and yes, it loses value like second-hand toilet paper, but there's something about the shine of this thing that's made it an easy watch to keep going back to. It's a bit of a misleading watch, actually. It's billed as 41mm across, but try as I might, I can't find a dimension greater than 39mm. Must be why it wears more like a 39mm watch. And the caliber 0101C, I was ready to dismiss that as bland and boring, but take a closer peep and you'll see it's benefiting from a whole lot of love and attention. It's a bit different, a bit oddball, just how I like it. When my red one comes though, then we'll see.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom and some of you might know me as bowlofsalmon on Instagram. Despite adding some grill watches this year, the watch I have worn the most is the TAG Heuer Carrera glass box. TAG absolutely nailed it with the design of the glass box, and it was the reverse panda reference that impressed me most. As a photographer, this watch being so photogenic definitely helps, and sorry Evan, it just plays with the light beautifully and I can't stop staring at those shiny indices and silvery subdials. It looks and wears amazing on a NATO strap, and in rotation with my other watches, the 80 hours of power reserve is a huge help. And as Ryan Gosling already proved, you can do all your stunts with it too. Daddy, thank you so much for inviting me onto the channel. I wish you and your viewers a merry jingle balls, and most of all, a happy and healthy new year. Bye.
Hey, my name is Perry Dash. My name is Rashawn Smith. Welcome to Wrist Check Podcast. So the watch that I wore most of 2024 is my Rolex GMT Master. This is a reference 16750. It's vintage, late 80s. I did a lot of traveling this year and this was right by my side. What I love about this timepiece is the creamy patinaed lume plots around the dial, in addition to the hour minute hands and the GMT hand. One of my favorite pieces.
The watch that I wore all year in 2024 is my trusty Datejust reference 16234 with the beautiful Vignette dial and the subtle touch of quiet luxury with the diamond markers. You really don't find many examples in the all steel, so I have to say it's quite rare.
My name is Xavier from the Night's Watch, and let's take a look at what I wore the most this year. So last year it was the Alexander Shorokov, and this year it was kind of the tale of two tanks. The first one is a clean classic white dial. I've had it for over 2 years, and it just made me fall in love with the tank format. Now updating that, I decided I needed it in black. I needed a yin to the yang or a yang to the yin, however you say it. This one has a secret to it. This beautiful, beautiful spider dial. It doesn't really look like anything else out there. Just sometimes dead on, it looks almost pure black, and then you move the dial and these cracks appear out of nowhere. It does something that I think all watches should do, and it brings a smile to my face. And I just love how this one wears 23mm, 6.5mm thick, so super thin, around 30.5 lug to lug. It just is fun, and that's what watches are all about.
I already told you, 7 inches. My wrist is... Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. You're terrific, and that's also the name of my YouTube channel. And this year, the watch I wore the most was this Rolex Explorer 2 16570 from 2008. At about 40 millimeters by just over 12 millimeters thick, it's a size that always works, and it's got a GMT complication, which has got to be my favorite complication. I love the older, lighter Rolex bracelet, I love the red GMT hand, and I guess this is pretty close to a perfect sports watch for me. Don't forget the for me part. No watch is objectively better than any other. If you love it, then it's the best watch in the world for you.
Am I going after Evan? I can't stand that guy. Hey guys, I'm Max. Happy holidays. The watch that I've been wearing the most this year has been this Notice Watch Crunch collab that we did called the Flyboy. This is based on Notice's new case architecture, which thins the watch out to 11.5 millimeters, and I love a thin watch. Some of the elements I love are ones that I had some creative say in, like the green ceramic bezel, circularly brushed. There is a pop of yellow on the second hand, and it ships with both a bracelet and my very own Zero Pass strap. What this watch represents to me is just the great community of watch lovers that we've been able to cultivate on the Watch Crunch app. So yeah, come hang out with us.
My name is Kai. I'm the owner of the watchvice YouTube channel from Germany and the husband of jennielle, whom you might know if you don't know me. And the watch I wore most recently in the last few months is the Full Gold GMT Master 2, the new release. And that was just a weak point for me, to be honest, because I bought it on stock to sell it in my shop, and I was too weak to sell it in my shop because I like it so much. And what I like most about this watch is, of course, the quality of Rolex is, in my opinion, perfect, and also the color, especially if you have like a blue shirt or a green shirt on. And thanks for having me, Teddy. Wish you all a very nice Christmas and a good new year.
This is Ben. Some people know me as Ben's Watches. You can call me whatever you want, and my most worn watch of the year was this. But before I tell you that, I just want to say thank you to Teddy so much for including me in this video. 2.5 years ago, or really even 6 years ago, I was binging Teddy's videos on a daily basis. This is going to be true for a lot of content creators coming up. We learned from Ted. It's cool to see what he's doing, and I thank you, Teddy, so much for including me in this. My most worn watch of the year, like I told you, is the Tudor 7016 last year. This is a vintage watch. One of the reasons I wore this the most this year is because it got me into vintage when I never really was, but I just love this watch. It's from 1974. They released this watch. It was for about 5 or 6 years. This was the first Tudor with the snowflake hands. We know Tudor with these snowflake hands all the time now. This is the first one. And I got this watch from Eric Wynn, who's known as like the Rolex Tudor vintage watch guy. And I actually traded my Rolex Starbucks for this vintage Tudor Submariner, and I don't regret it at all. There's more about this on my page, but yeah, I love this watch so much, and I'll probably never sell this one.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Thank you for having me, Teddy. You know, when I think 2024, I think of this very cool, very affordable Casio. It's got a 100-meter water resistance rating, a 10-year battery life, a light, stopwatch, alarms, even dual time. And the best part is right now at the time of filming, this is $17 on Amazon. So if you've been following me on my channel, you'd know I'm kind of going back to basics with my personal watch collection, and I'm exploring a segment of watches that I think are really fun, very functional, and honestly, very cheap. So this little Casio Illuminator is proof that you just don't always have to spend a ton of money on a watch to get something really cool. So stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. And Teddy, I love you, baby.
What's up, watch fam? The watch I wore most this year is this piece that I bought back in May. I was hanging out with some buddies and I was a little bit toasted, to be fair, but I'd wanted it for a while and I don't regret doing it. This is a Rolex Day Date 36 millimeter with a beautiful, brilliant green dial. Green is my favorite color, Rolex my favorite brand, and yellow gold my favorite metal. And this actually comes originally from factory without a presidential bracelet, which is really abnormal, but on this matching green alligator strap. I remember seeing this watch in its collection with the other, like-minded pieces in white gold and yellow gold and different colors, but all on strap at a Tourneau with my dad back in 2013. And that was 2 years before I started Theo&Harris. And let me tell you, back then, if you told me that one day I'd be wearing it, I would have called you a liar. So that's it. I hope that you all have a beautiful Christmas. God bless you all, and Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
My most worn watch this year is the Omega Speedmaster 50th anniversary of the Silver Snoopy Award, aka the Omega Snoopy. I bought this watch from the Omega boutique last year after being on a waiting list for a pretty long time, and since then it's been making its way onto my wrist on a very consistent basis. I'm sure by now you've seen photos and the videos of this case back. You have Snoopy on his rocket flying around the moon. You also have Earth spinning in the background. Is it gimmicky? Yeah. Is it silly? Also yes. But do I love it? Yes, I do. I don't know what it is. I love this silly little watch. It's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, but it brings the smile to my face, and it's been the watch that I wore most in 2024.
Merry Christmas, everyone. My name's Andrew McWhorter from Time and Tide, and my most worn watch of 2024, phone, the boom Toledano & Chan B1 in 904L steel. The appeal and the whole purpose of this watch being this unusual shape, it is just insanely wearable. So you have a lapis dial, every single link of the bracelet is tapered to a different degree, and I reward the endeavor. At a time when a lot of watch design is generic, this is out of the effing blue. This is my most worn watch of 2024, and I look forward to seeing who else is wearing what in the same video. Thanks for the invite, Teddy. See you next year.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny from the jennielle YouTube channel. My favorite watch of this year has to be, again, my candy pink in 36mm from Rolex. It's an Oyster Perpetual. I absolutely love the design, I love the size. It is so simplistic, it is legible, which is always very important to me. And there's really nothing about this watch that I don't like. I have had it for 4 years now, I think, yes. And ever since I have loved it. And it's also my absolute recommendation when it comes to Rolex watches. If you're ever out there looking for one, I would say go for the Oyster Perpetual. It's just the best. And that is basically it. Teddy and crew, thank you so much for including me in this one. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to him. And for everyone out there watching, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, stay happy and healthy. And I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.
Hi Teddy, thanks for the invite. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Abdullah and I run a small watch channel from my little apartment here in Kuala Lumpur. Now the watch I wore the most this year has to be my Tudor Black Bay 58, or Tudy as my wife likes to call it. It's a whole thing. This watch is just blatantly perfect. We call it boring because we've seen it everywhere, but to me, it's not boring to look at, to wear, to connect with on a personal level. Why are we like this? Who talks like this? God. Anyway, thanks Teddy, and I hope everyone has a happy new year.
Hi, my name is Tim from Caseback Watches, and my favorite piece in 2024 was produced by the French brand 470. It is called Le Boulevardier, named after a famous cocktail from the 20s. And I was slightly involved in the design, so I had several drafts here and prototypes, and I really could see all the development. The design here follows an antique clock with Roman numerals. It lives under a massive sapphire that creates these dreamy distortions. And important to know is that 470 watches are not the product of the regular watch factory. They are made by Cormac Hannay, mainly by hand. And I put this piece here on a caseback strap, so real Cordovan, and it looks just fantastic, the entire ensemble. And it taught me the purpose of Roman numerals and why that minute track is not always so important.
The watch I wore the most in 2024 is this Jules Freak. I know I'm very biased, Teddy, but together with a dear friend of mine called James Walker, you maybe know him as Mr. JWW, a very big automotive YouTuber. We created a watch that symbolizes the automotive and, for me, the watch industry. A watch that we launched at the Gumball together with the Gumball, and I'm very, very proud of that. Something I'm also very proud of, Teddy, is you hitting 1 million subscribers. Congratulations. You're an absolute inspiration to many of us in our industry, and you're doing an incredible job. As well as that, we need to now finally make this happen. A video, you and me, either in your shop or in mine. To every single one of you, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Teddy, let's make this collaboration happen in 2025.
Hello everyone, my name is Miguel from SoCal Watch Reviews. Teddy and team, thank you so much for letting me be part of this video once again. 3 years in a row, But who's counting? My most worn watch of 2024 is also my newest watch. In fact, it's from a watch brand that doesn't get the recognition it deserves, Formex. The watch is a Reef 39.5mm, and it's the watch I didn't know I wanted until I got hands-on with one at Intersect LA. The watch not only looks awesome, but it has an incredible build quality for a very competitive price. Two cool features I would like to highlight are the interchangeable bezel that lets you change bezels on the fly without the need of a tool, and their bracelet and strap quick release systems that are very easy to use. Formex watches really need to be experienced in person to fully understand how good they truly are. I hope everyone has an amazing holiday season. Be safe out there and stay humble.
Hi, it's George Bamford from Bamford Watch Department and Bamford London. So the watch I wore most this year, well, actually it started off in Scotland. I was up there doing this expedition for this watch, and honestly, it was awesome. What I wore most this year was the S500. This is the Bamford X Bremont Aurora. Honestly, a great tool watch, and I have not had it off my wrist for most of the year. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I feel very lucky to be a part of this great group of people. Here is to absolutely rocking 2025. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Teddy. Hey, this is Mark from Average Bros and the host of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. My most worn watch of 2024 has to be my Grand Seiko SBGR017, and this neo-vintage piece has been a long time grail of mine. From the unique angular dodecagon bezel and intricate geometric dial texture to the elaborate, fully articulated multi-piece steel bracelet, this double-signed Grand Seiko is as unique as it is rare. And while it does offer a very clearly elevated aesthetic, it also features a screw-down crown with 200 meters of water resistance, which I think make it a nice Japanese luxury alternative to the Rolex Explorer. Thanks again, Teddy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Teddy, thank you so much for having me on, buddy. This is Harrison from the Chisholm Hunter channel, and it's been pretty hard to find one watch that I've worn throughout the year because I've kind of been alternating between these three. So this one is the Tudor Black Bay Heritage. Secondly, I've been using the Hamilton Khaki Field Expedition. This is my expedition watch. It's the watch that I use on all my adventures. And finally, and thirdly, I've been wearing, of course, the King, the Omega Seamaster White Dial. It's honestly hard to think that it's been another year already, and it kind of gives you an appreciation of the value of time. I just want to wish all your subscribers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year when it comes. And to you directly, Teddy, you're absolutely smashing it. Have a brilliant New Year and Christmas, and we'll hopefully catch up real soon.
Salut Teddy, salut my friends. My name is Andre from Bridge Beaters, and my most worn watch of the year was the Tudor Black Bay chronograph in steel and gold. This was a strange match for me because I was a Black Bay critic for many years, but this steel and gold chrono proved me wrong. Actually, this platform combines many worlds for me: the appreciation for the brand, the elegance and the warmth of the golden accents, the presence, the racing vibe, and the nature of an everyday practical watch, which in my opinion sounds convenient. I wore quite a lot of watches this year, but this was by far my most influential one because it unleashed an appetite for collecting chronograph watches, a platform which I overlooked for many years. Yeah. Anyway, you can find more interesting stuff on my Brave Beaters channel. I wish you all the best, happy holidays, and have a brave 2025.
Hi everyone, Teddy, thank you for having me yet again. My most worn watch of this year. A very odd one. It's not a Rolex or an Omega or Seiko or anything. Breitling 765 AVI. I've never been that kind of guy to say that a manual wind chronograph would be my grab and go. But this Breitling has proved to be the exception. From its size, the big eye subdial, the chronograph action, the simplicity of it, the 50s styling, the GMT bezel, which I use non-stop. The beauty of this hobby is that it's always changing and that we can find new avenues to explore. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who take the time to watch our videos. We wouldn't be where we are now if it weren't for you. Have an excellent new year. Thanks again.
So when Teddy asked me to come on here and share with you guys what my favorite watch of 2024 was, I was hoping I would go to my watch box and be able to say it was something like my Khaki Pilot Day Date from Hamilton, which is probably my most impressive watch. Don't judge me, I run a budget watch channel. But if it wasn't gonna be that, I was hoping maybe it would be something like my Notice Sector Pilot, which is one that I picked up this year that I absolutely love. I feel like it has everything that I want out of a watch. It's got a 12-hour bezel, cool blacked out look, and it's just a great watch overall. But it wasn't that either. It was this Casio. I don't even know what the model number is on it. The watch that I wore the most in 2024 was definitely this little like $20 Casio that I picked up. It's really cool. It's basically like a Casio Royale, but rounder, and it's got a dedicated button for the light. Teddy, thanks so much for the invite this year, and I hope everybody has a great 2025.
Random Rob here, and I want to share with you guys my most worn watch of 2024. Big thanks to Teddy and the crew for hosting these videos, and mine is, of course, the Seiko Orange Monster. Let's take a closer look. For the Seiko fans out there, they'll know this Orange Monster as an icon in the lineup. This is the second generation Seiko Monster, the SRP 309. It's the one that resonated the most with me, and it's the 10-year anniversary of me owning this. From 2014 to 2024, it remains the most worn watch in the rotation, and who doesn't like Seiko Lume?
Hello Teddy's viewers, this is Jody from the Just One More Watch channel. The watch that I wore most over the last 12 months is the same as the watch that I wore most over the previous 12 months. This watch, my Citizen Chronomaster. Now at first glance it might seem a bit plain, and let's be honest, Citizen is not the most desirable brand in the world, but this thing is phenomenal. It's high accuracy solar quartz, so you never need to wind it, to set it, or even to adjust it. This one gained 7 seconds in exactly 1 year. It's titanium, so it's super comfortable, and the scratch-proof coating means it's doing okay. It's held up pretty well after 2 years as my main watch. I spend a lot of my time wearing review watches, but when I grab one of my own watches, more often than not, it's this watch. Thanks for having me, Teddy, and I wish all of you all the best for the holiday season and the year ahead.
Hey everyone, I'm Craig. I'm the founder of Wrist Enthusiast. First and foremost, I want to thank Teddy and his team for including me in this video again. It's such a cool concept. The watch I wore most this year is the Colloquium Project 1 Variant B. I've been trying to venture out this year into more independent and obscure brands, and when I first saw the Colloquium, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. The fully lume dial is just unlike anything else I've ever seen, and to me, it's interesting when you look at this watch from many different angles. I just think it's rare to get such a unique and well-executed watch for around $3,500. So bravo to the guys at Colloquium. And they were JPHG nominated.
What's up guys, it is Watch Chris. My most worn watch of 2024 has to be my Toledano Enchan B1. When I first saw pictures of this watch, I knew I absolutely had to have it in my collection. It looks like no other watch on the market. It's inspired by brutalist design, the Rolex King Midas, and the Whitney Museum here in New York. It's made out of 904L stainless steel. It gets a lapis dial and a Swiss automatic movement. However, it looks like nothing else that you've seen before. The bracelet is incredible. The case is very strange. The shape is very weird, but I love it. It really does work as a package, and that's the reason why I had to buy it. Thanks again, Teddy, for including me in this year's video.
Hey everyone, John P here. A watch that I wore the most in the year 2024 is actually the Moonswatch Polar Lights Edition. Now I have many other watches in my collection, and you know this if you watch me or you've been around and you're familiar with my collection, but I spent the summer in Utah, Arizona, Nevada, that whole region of the country going on different adventures nonstop. So the Moonswatch worked for me this past year and I wore it the most.
Right guys, good morning. Hi, it's Justin from Justin Hast, and Teddy, thank you very much as always for including me on this film. The watch I've worn the most this year has undoubtedly been this, the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto 41mm titanium sports watch, and I absolutely love it, primarily because it's just so damn comfortable. Full titanium case and bracelet. You can tell the Laurent himself spent many years at Patek, was instrumental in the development of the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. And I just love this lume, this green lume against this blue matte sector dial. And tell me that's not how you do a date window. That is a celebration of a date window. Micro rotor movement, finished to the highest level as you'd expect from Laurent Ferrier. I absolutely love it. Guys, have a wonderful Christmas and catch you next year. Go well.
Hello watch lovers, it's Tom here from Watchfinder, and this year I received this Jaeger LeCoultre Master Control Date, and it's the coolest thing I've ever owned. Just look at that movement. But I just keep this for best. And actually, the watch I wore most this year was this Timex. It's a collab with a record label, What I Likes, Ghostly International, and there's the Ghostly logo on the dial. It's got purple accents, and I can use the bezel to find the time in Honolulu. So it's got everything I love in a watch. And at 38mm, it fits nicely on my dainty wrist. And then you can see here where I womped it on a wall within a week of having it. And that's why I just keep the JLC for best. Anyway, thanks for having me, Teddy. Goodbye, everyone.
Hey everyone, it's Derek Mon from Minute Mon. Thanks to Teddy and his team for having me on again this year. Originally, I was going to tell you that my most worn watch of 2024 was the Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Dual Face Medium Classic. Such a mouthful to say. But as I went to open my watch box, I realized, wait, the watch I wore the most is actually this Omega Speedmaster Hodinkee 10th anniversary. Earlier this year, my wife and I just had a newborn baby girl. So everything from the delivery, the hospital, and even after the hospital, thankfully a safe delivery, every time I would reach for a watch, it kept on being this Omega Speedmaster. And it's just because I love having the large Arabic numerals, so it's really easy to know what time it is. What time did she last eat? What time did she sleep? On top of that, using the chronograph. Oh, she slept 2 hours ago, or she slept 1 hour ago. Now, this watch is based on the CK2998, the older first Omega in space, as well as the Mark 40 Speedmaster, which had a triple calendar. But this one is time only with just a chronograph, and that's why it has those like funky colors from the Mark 40. It has the robust 1861 movement, as well as being a strap monster, and I love that it's a gray dial, so it pretty much matches everything. Anyways, thanks for listening to my story. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Hello, let me introduce myself. I am falling.
Nobody cares.
Right. So the watch I wore the most was this one. And you know how nobody cares what watch you're wearing? Nobody cares. We can talk about fit, finish, heritage. It's got X factor. X factor, especially from far away. Because I've never gotten so many compliments on a watch. Strangers. Oh, hey, I like your watch. Oh, by the way, what's on your wrist? It's got almost a 4mm domed sapphire or boxed sapphire, and it mimics the vintage acrylic perfectly. A perfect watch for Christmas, and it's the watch I wore the most in 2024. Merry Christmas, Teddy fans.
Hi, this is Mark from longislandwatch.com. Teddy, thank you for having me. My most worn watch of the year would have to be my Islander Journey. This is a watch that we did in conjunction with a charity from Wisconsin, the Brian Lavalette Scholarship Foundation. We produced about 150 of these watches and sold them all through our store and donated 100% of the revenue from the sales to the charity. And what meant the most to me about this whole thing was how the entire watch community, this hobby, banded together to do a great deal of good. And at the end of the day, we were able to donate $45,000 to this amazing charity, thanks to everybody in the community.
Teddy, thanks for this invitation. I'm Bruce Williams. I'm a watch fan in the Rocky Mountains, and the watch that's totally taken over my wrist time has been the Tudor Pelagos left-hand drive. And yes, I like some of the vintage aspects to it, like the snowflake hands, like the square markers, the red line of text, the roulette date wheel. But this very much feels like a contemporary piece with the titanium, with the loomed ceramic insert, and with this highly adjustable spring-loaded clasp. So to me, there are no glaring negative aspects to this watch, and that is completely, the one that I reach for day in and day out over far more expensive models. So a big fan of the Tudor Pelagos left-hand drive. Thanks, Teddy, for this invitation. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hi, my name's Harrison. If you don't know me, I wear my watches on a pretty strict rotation of 1 day per week. But a watch that's destroyed that system is the IWC Mark 20. You see, I bought this early for an upcoming birthday because patience in watches is not my virtue. You see, as I'm getting older, I wanted something that made me feel closer to my father, who recently bought his first painfully expensive watch also an IWC. So I bought the Mark 20 blue sunburst dial with a quick chain strap system, an adjustable bracelet clasp, easy to remove links, legibility from 20 feet away, and a timeless charm, whether it's on a sailcloth, a NATO, a leather strap, or a polished bracelet. You see, with the 5-day power reserve, it's always running when the other ones die, so it's picked up in a pinch. Thanks again for the invite, Teddy. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Teddy! It's Russ from the Mad Watch Collector channel, wishing you and everyone that's watching a Merry Christmas and a fantastic New Year. The one watch I've worn the most was the one I reviewed and ended up buying, and it's the SLA 071, the Landmaster. Yes, a celebration of over 30 years since the first Landmaster, when they used those horrible kinetic movements, you know.
The ones where the batteries went kaputski.
This is an unbelievable watch in every aspect. The case and bracelet is titanium, but it's not light titanium, you know, like you're holding a toy. The dial is magnificent, and the movement is just as magnificent. And yes, a Seiko with a 4 Hz sweep sure does cost a few bob, but it sure does make me happy every time I put it on my wrist. Oh, have some of that. See you next year.
Hey guys, it's Archie Luxury, coming to you from Japan. And guys, I'm from, well, Archie Luxury channel, Archie Luxury live stream, Archie Luxury channel. Guys, what watch did I wear the most in 2024? Was it a Patek? Was it a JLC? Was it a Breguet? No. It was my bluesy, two-tone bluesy. That's the one I wore in 2024. Bluesy, Rolex, bluesy. Happy New Year! Happy Christmas!
Well, there we have it, guys. That is all for 2024, the watches that we wore the most. Please do me a favor, subscribe to all of these additional channels. These guys take time out of their day, their week, to be able to put these videos together, and I feel very privileged to be able to have them all participate in this at the end of every single year. I think we're stronger as a community if we work together, and I always love doing this. So please do subscribe to all their channels. Also, thank you all so much for the support throughout the year. 2024 was a phenomenal year, so thank you all for watching this channel and supporting us throughout the year. And with that, guys, I'll wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and bluesy. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.